The three magic words we've been waiting on for months. It's game week. First, we look back to our 2020 kit reveal here in Washington, D.C., and then it's ahead to game one in our chase for the Cup. This is 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown, presented by Innova. From one rooftop to another, welcome to Utah, home of the 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup. I'm Craig Hoffman, and this is 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown, presented by Innova. In 2 hours from right now, I'll be about 25 minutes that way, joining all of you in finally seeing the Spirit take the pitch. Later in the show, you'll get a scouting report from Tom Torres, and I'll go one-on-one with Ashley Hatch here in her home state. Now, as you know, 7 other teams are with us here in Utah after Orlando Pride had to withdraw following a number of positive COVID tests. That means a new tournament schedule, so let's take a look. As you know, Portland went down to defending champion North Carolina earlier today in the opener. We're game 2 later tonight, and the next batch of games is on June 30th, the day we were originally scheduled to open. Our next match is on July 1st versus the Courage, so both teams will have the same layoff between games. Game 3 is versus Portland on Sunday night, July 5th, and we'll see if Adriana Franch and Sophia Smith are back for that one for Portland. We then wrap up group play on July 12th, the early game against Houston Dash. Tonight's game, 10 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Pre-game coverage starts at 9:45 with my good friend Sherry Burris on CBS All Access. On the night the matchups were reset, we had an amazing conversation with soccer royalty on the Richie Burke Show. Richie and I were joined by 1991 World Cup champion April Heinrichs, and we talked about the task ahead and the players who will be taking it on.
April, great to see you. Let me just say that, you know, the best compliment I can actually give April, and it's a heartfelt one. In the United Kingdom, where I'm from, there are soccer royalty. It's Sir Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby Robson, Alex Ferguson, names that people look at and say they are the royal high-end people in football in the UK. And April, when you mention April's name, she's one of the soccer royalty in the US. She's done everything. She's been a technical director and driven an awful lot. There are so many players on our team that have been touched and been affected and moved forward by April's input that, you know, we feel blessed. And I'm very, very thankful, April, for you coming here. I'm thankful for what you've done for US soccer and for women's soccer in this country. And there's no question in my mind, you are huge soccer royalty in the US.
That is the first time I've ever heard that reference, but I appreciate it, Richie.
It leads us to talk about our young side, because I know there's so many of these players that you have had a massive, massive impact on and a massive influence to get them where they are. So we as a football club, you know, Larry and I talk about that all the time. And Larry sends his best to you, by the way. He says, make sure you tell April I send my best wishes. So I'd be remiss if I didn't do that. But we talk about that all the time. These players that have come through, that you've affected and pushed into the stage, we are forever grateful at the Spirit, because so many of them have come through your programs.
Yeah, it's not my program. It's the U.S. national team program. It's our program, right? It's the country's program. So,
but you were at the head of it, and you were really the architect.
I have an affinity for so many players on your team. It's incredible. From, you know, I've probably known Andy Sullivan and Jordan DiBiase and some of those kids, Tori Houston, are the longest or the most. But also, I mean, I think about Crystal. And I think about Aubrey. I didn't coach Aubrey ever through our program, but I helped bring her into our under 23 program. And to see where she is today, to see that Crystal has moved around but keeps bubbling up and finding playing time and coming off the bench and playing for you guys late in the season last year.
Yep.
That's been exciting. Kaya McCullough and Natalie Jacobs, of course, I've known for a long time. Megan McCool is another player that comes to mind that you know, I know a little bit about. Don't know her really well, not nearly as much as, say, Andy or Jordan DB. But there's a lot of players in there. Tegan McGrady.
Yeah.
You know, I've watched her for what seems like since she was 14 or 15, maybe.
Yeah. So,
you know, I hate to leave some of those out. And, of course, Rosie Posey.
Yeah.
Rosie Posey.
How could you forget her?
Nobody can forget her.
Yeah.
When I was scouting at an ODP event the month after the Under-17 World Cup, which she was eligible for but didn't go to. I thought to myself, this kid is so interesting. This kid is, if we have a style of play to build around her, because, across the U.S., there's a lot of styles of play. If we can build a style of play for more players like Rose Lavelle, because in my mind, about 10 years ago, I was thinking the small, creative, technical male players, Iniesta, Xavi, Pirlo, they were all thriving in the men's game.
Yeah.
Why were the small, technical, creative players not thriving in the women's game? It was like the physicality of the women's game was pushing them down. You know what? If the small, technical players in the men's game can survive the physicality in the men's game, all we have to do is find a style of play that fits these players. Rose Lavelle, when we brought her in, oh my God, I mean, she does some things. In her first World Cup, she did things that we've never seen players do. I actually said at the time, and I think that was around 2014, we've never had a 10 like her.
Yeah.
And we've had some good 10s in this country.
Absolutely.
But we've never had a 10 like Rose Lavelle. And man, did she ever skyrocket up. And what she did in this World Cup was unbelievable.
And I'm blessed and very fortunate to see her on a regular basis on the training ground.
Yeah.
I had a very, very interesting conversation with Vlatko. I hope forgives me if I tell this story. So we were talking about very much, as you're saying, that some of the players we have in our football club that are smaller in size and they're not robust, they're tricky and creative. Rosie actually is very good defensively. We've got a couple of others that are not fantastic defensively, but they do such a good job on the football. And I was talking to him about Ashley Sanchez, who we've got at our football club right now. He's an incredibly talented kid and it's just sort of blossomed in a professional environment with us. And we were talking a little bit about Ash and I said, she's really enjoying playing with Rose. And Vlatko says, who doesn't enjoy playing with Rose? Everybody enjoys playing with Rose, right? It's the truth because she is such a pleasure to play with. And she's actually, some of our players enjoy playing against her because she brings out the best in them. And sometimes she does things and you're like, wow, that's incredible. She scored 2 the other day in a game and hardly broke sweat. She's just a fabulous, fabulous player. So we're very lucky to have her, but we're lucky to have a couple of these other young players, John DiBiase in that mold as well, who can actually play. As you say, it's just great to be out playing. It was after we'd been off for such a while with COVID-19, and then we got on the training ground, it was such a pleasure. It's like, this is where you really love life. This is where you look and say, you're very fortunate, you're very blessed to be in, especially in the company that we're in as well. You're like, wow, this is great. And I think the players felt a little bit of that too. They were just, they were glad to be out there. Some of them might not have thought, I was stuck with him. But the fact is they were out on the training ground playing football, which was great for them. And it was such a pleasure for us all.
Oh, COVID's been this amazing reminder, like me, even at my age, I got into that. Okay, well, I need to get outside once a day.
Yeah.
And okay, how do I do it during the winter months? And I ended up setting up a soccer tennis net in my garage. So no matter the weather, I can play soccer tennis over a net that's about a little higher than knee height. Yeah. And I am telling you, for the first time in like 15 years, I felt like a soccer player once. You're starting to actually get better at it after a couple of years, and the ball's going back and forth, and there's more strategy. So the game saves us so many times. If I was going to write a book, one of my proposed titles would be "Soccer Saved Me." And I'm sure, I'm sure that soccer, the return to soccer, is saving a lot of the spirit of the, no pun intended, saving their spirit. They need it. They desperately need it right now.
That was why, during the hiatus, speaking with a sports psychologist was key, because we were looking at body language, we were looking at, conversations and tone, and we were thinking, oh God, we need to uplift these players where they're missing it so much, and it's really weighing heavily on them and bearing them down. There were a couple of players who we were particularly concerned about, and trying to reach them and trying to get them up, and we had different strategies. Zoom meetings were a key to a lot of things, and getting them to do a little bit of homework and a little bit of study. But when they actually got on the field, it was like a huge weighted vest was just lifted off them. And those players who, and they're the ones you look at, April, I don't know if you see it in them, that you'd say, they're the soccer junkies. This football saves them. Soccer saves them. If they don't have it, God knows what they're going to do, because this is the core of who they are. And I think they're the ones that you have an affinity towards. You go anything for most of your players, but those players you're like, wow, we really needed to help them ones.
Yeah.
For the full conversation, check out our archive right here on Twitch. Next up on Cup Countdown, what does being at home in Utah mean to Ashley Hatch? Plus, Spirit assistant Tom Torres gives us a scouting report on tonight's opponent, Chicago Red Stars. And don't miss an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at our 2020 kit reveal. All still to come on 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown, presented by Innova.
The American Medical Association has labeled unrealistic images as a serious health issue. That's why CVS made a promise to not alter the beauty images we make. Because when an industry changes how it sees women, it can change how women see themselves.
Welcome back to 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown, presented by Innova. Chicago Red Stars are coming off a season where they made a run all the way to the league final. Though they lost 2019 Golden Boot winner Sam Kerr in the offseason as she left for Chelsea, they returned an immense amount of talent, led by U.S. national team veterans Alyssa Nair and Julie Ertz. For more on the Red Stars before tonight's matchup, I caught up with Spirit assistant coach Tom Torres yesterday, and we started off talking about both what Chicago has and, as mentioned, what they don't.
The loss of Kerr is huge. Sam Kerr, huge league-wide, but they picked up Kilo High, Watt, as well as Rachel Hill, which is going to make, there's some attacking power that maybe it changes their style a little bit. Nagasato's still, fantastic player, one of the world's best. Defensively, if Ertz plays in the back, then it's a hard wall to get through with her and Gordon and Casey Short. The midfield is arguably, we feel like we have the best midfield in the league, but that's their midfield of O'Brien, Colaprico, who's questionable, and potentially McCaskill and Morgan Bryan could be a lot of problems for us as well.
The big message this week: play our game. Tom and Richie have preached that, well, yes, of course, you should be aware of what your opponent does, and of course, they have scouted accordingly. The staff is confident if we play our style to our standard, the Spirit will come out on top in game one, despite the talent on the other side of the pitch.
We came here to compete and to win games, and we're certainly focusing on ourselves first, and then as Chicago, throw some problems at us that we have to solve, then we'll adjust as things are going. But we're pretty healthy, so that should be a good look for us.
It all goes down tonight, and if you want to be a part of the action during the 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup, we invite you to become a Washington Spirit season ticket holder. 2021 seats are on sale now, and as part of your package, you'll get exclusive access to the Challenge Cup watch parties presented by Secret on Google Meet. It's a chance to watch virtually with a few hundred of our closest friends and be featured on the CBS All Access feed during the games. Head to WashingtonSpirit.com/tickets for more information. As you can see, Utah's beautiful, it's stunning, and it's a great scene for this historic tournament. For Ashley Hatch, it's more though. It's home. Her and her husband make their off-season home here in the Beehive State. She went to college about 20 minutes away at BYU. She's not trying to think about that though, staying locked in on the task at hand. Trying, anyway, but annoying people like me keep asking her what it's meant to be at home.
And Hatch, you and I were talking a little bit yesterday on the way over. You are trying your best to forget where you are, but how has that gone so far? Obviously, this is home, but does it feel like you're even in Utah with considering the bubble and the athlete village and everything like that?
Yeah, of course it does, because you can't get rid of these mountains. The mountains are beautiful, and so it feels nice to be at home, I guess you could say, every time we come outside and see the mountains. But like you said, I'm trying to forget and just focus on the goal here of the team and what we're doing with the Spirit and for our upcoming games. So just trying to stay focused.
All right, that's the last question I'll ask you. I will now allow you to do what you were trying to do. Let's focus on Chicago tomorrow. When you look at them, what are some of the things that pop out, some of the players that you guys obviously need to watch? And for you as a goal scorer, what challenge do you have, obviously with a pretty stout defense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every team in this league is very talented and has a lot of key players. They have a lot of key players on their team that we're going to have to look out for. But also, you know, we don't know a lot about them because they have new players. So I think we're just going to focus on our style of play and our goal as a team going out there, playing good soccer, keeping the ball, and then ultimately scoring and winning. So that's our goal.
Yeah, the scoring thing, I think that's your job.
Yeah.
You've been through a number of NWSL seasons now. And to me, one of the fascinating parts about this tournament is it's not like a regular build-up. You don't have the preseason games, all that kind of stuff. How does it feel now that as we're recording this, as people watch it, it will be just hours before the match, but as we're recording this, it's a day before.
Yeah.
Does it feel like the day before a game? Do you feel like you're now have kind of caught up to that mode?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's fun to be in this environment. It's fun to practice on a nice pitch and also see the game field right there. So I think we're all excited. It's fun to be, you know, with the team, like in a hotel environment. It feels like an away game, and we're ready to go, you know, having team meetings, getting prepped for, you know, the game and our, you know, strategy and all that. So we're excited, yeah.
What have you talked about with the younger players, the rookies, that for tomorrow, or, you know, that'll be their first match, the first time they get out on a professional field?
Yeah, I mean, just for them to enjoy it, and it's a little unconventional the way this season has gone for them, but all the rookies on our team have handled it great, and they're all, you know, doing their best with this situation, and I think whatever rookies are out on the field tomorrow, they'll do great because I think they're prepared, so.
Hachi, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Approaching 90 minutes until kick, we'll see if Hachi can find the back of the net tonight here at home. Up next on Cup Countdown, after much anticipation, the 2020 kits are here. Go behind the scenes of the reveal video, including a trip to Bryce Scurry's house. Next on 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown, presented by Innova.
Today, you pushed your limit. You went to the edge and beyond it. The Attain by Aetna app motivates you to hit your activity goals and rewards you for it, because athlete or not, health is the real win.
The history of women's soccer in DC is rich. It's full of growth, but that growth has not come without strife. It's come with literal blood, sweat, and tears. It's come through obstacles and over adversity. It has come thanks to the leadership of people willing to do the work. It has come despite people trying to hold us back. Does that deter us?
Finds the corner for the Washington Spirit!
Not for a second. Our drive and dedication is fueled by the people that came before us and those that will follow. So join us now as we continue to grow, as we continue to lead, as we continue to make history.
There she is. Beautiful, isn't she? The 2020 kit is on sale now. Head to rockvillesoccer.com to purchase your customized kit today. That video is how the world learned what our 2020 kit looked like. A story of women's soccer in DC, narrated by one of the game's ultimate legends in Brianna Scurry. It's a history with more than a few bumps in the road, which made it quite appropriate for us when we had to overcome Mother Nature and the effects of a global pandemic ourselves to pull it off. But just like that storied history, a lot of really hard work helped lead to a pretty spectacular result. Here's an inside look at how it all came together.
As we continue to make history.
Audi is just a great canvas. It means so much to this team. I think it means so much to women's football, women's soccer in this area.
We had a shoot at Audi the other night and it was great. The weather was a little unexpected, but kind of goes along with the theme of 2020.
We had so many contingency plans, but we had this magical hour-and-a-half window where the rain held off exactly when we needed it to get that shot.
today was pretty remarkable to see how nimble we could be and move, and everybody did a great job, and I'm proud of everybody.
There was this sense of wanting to grow the game more, and especially because it's a women's sport, really needing to grow it more. And I think that when we talked about Audie and we saw the stairs, it kind of became this really, really great metaphor for, you know, walking into an empty stadium, but growing up the stairs, rushing up the stairs, trying to prove yourself to everyone that, you know, you're worth watching and you're worth filling stadiums for.
What we did today, we're of course thrilled to work with Andy and Rose. They're real pros, not just on the pitch, but they're also pros here in front of the camera. And we look forward to showing you what we did.
Our team did an amazing job. We had to make a lot of changes that we didn't plan on. We literally spent hours and hours and hours in meetings trying to plan every intricate detail, and then Mother Nature was like, hey, you and your meetings, see ya. And so we did a great job of just trying to navigate the rain, keeping everybody safe and dry, and we're lucky. We have the best players in the world to work with, and Rose and Andy were incredible with the video. Tori, Hatchie, Kumi were awesome with the photos.
This particular shoot isn't just about the jersey, of course. We want to highlight our sponsors that do a great job for us and highlight those partnerships that help us with the community. And we also want to highlight the players. Okay. That's it.
It's awesome. The color scheme is really cool. The blue, gray, and red, we really want it to be like the capital of the US, so red, white, and blue. I just want to make DC proud.
We all recognize that we all had a role to play in growing the club and putting players first. Okay, ready?
Seeing a grown man push another grown man in a wagon for 15 minutes at a time, that was pretty entertaining.
We kind of picked this theme of growth.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking good, feeling good out in Utah.
2 epic locations, 2 phenomenal days. We are so excited to be able to share that with you and hope it's something our fans can be proud of for a long time. Thanks for watching 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup Countdown presented by Innova. Game time is just around the corner.